All right, welcome everyone. To this presentation, I am Julien. I am the user acquisition team lead here at Splitmetrics. I've been working for 8 years, maybe even 9 years at this point, in marketing agencies. I've been working with some pretty cool brands like Puma, Porsche, even the Arsenal Football Club. I've been working in a company called AppRadar. You might know it. And for the last few years, I've been working in Splitmetrics as the UA team lead in our agency. My marketing team asked me to put a fun fact out there. It's always tricky. My fun fact is that I do own more than 100 football shirts. Some people would say it's an addiction. I would say this is a fun fact. A few words about us and Splitmetrics. What do? We unlock growth. That's what we do. We do this through paid user acquisition, through App Store optimization, so ISO, with our mobile experts and with AI. You can see more than 800 global clients, 10 years of innovation, 1 billion media spend managed annually, and we are partners with all those amazing ad channels that you all know about. You can even see some of our clients' name in the bottom of the page. But as I mentioned, AI is a pretty big thing for us. We've been investing heavily on it because we believe this is not just the future, this is the present. In the previous presentation, if you did not watch it, I would recommend you to have a look at this. We showed you some examples of what AI can do for your campaigns. I'm going to take a different angle in this presentation. My presentation is called Decode Your Competition and Using AI for Your Audits. The reality is that online, your competitors are always leaving clues about what they do. They leave that everywhere. And if you know how to catch them, if you know how to see what they are doing, you will be able to act fast. You will be able to close gaps if there are any, or you will get an edge faster than them. But you need to know how to catch all those clues. You need to know how to do competitor audits. And that's something quite long to do competitor audits. We've all done them. I mean, it's something that takes hours and hours. It's not the funniest thing ever to do. And now with AI, you can do this in minutes. Every single thing online, as I mentioned, is a clue. Every keyword, every creative is. I actually have a poll that I would love my marketing team to be putting on the screen right now. How often do you actually conduct competitive audits? How often do you actually have a look at what one competitor or more competitors are doing on the market? You like pull out, a whole report out of this and you then act on this. Rarely, never, once per year, quarterly, monthly, or ongoing. I'm going to give you just a few seconds and then we can see the answers. Quite curious to see how this is going to be. And now the answers. Majority, 38% said monthly, ongoing, quarterly, once a year. 15% said rarely or never. You never have a look at what your competitors are doing. Well, you need to stay until the end of this session because we're going to be talking about how to do this and how to do this fast. And honestly, I'm not very surprised about those results and the people who said we rarely do this or we never do this. I know why. That's because it's just way too long and it's just way too much work to do. But now we are in the age of artificial intelligence. That's going to change for you. When we talk about competitor benchmark, more competitor analysis, one of the first things you might think of are benchmarks. And actually, benchmarks are great. We actually have benchmarks on our website. We even have a link over there. You can have a look at them. Benchmarks are amazing because they give you a sense of the market. But that's what they do, and that's the only thing that they can do. So if you think, for example, of an industry like the health and fitness apps, right? You're going to have the average CPA. You're going to have the average tap-through rate. That's great, but in this industry, health and fitness, you will have calorie counters. You will have trackers to track your tennis matches. You will have step counters. You will have so many things that have no real link together. So like trying to compare your app and your data with those apps doesn't make so much sense. It gives you a sense of the market, yes, but it doesn't tell you exactly what your competition and what your niche is exactly doing. So now, how do we turn all the signals you might find online into actions? How do you apply a framework? I'm going to show you exactly how we do here in our agency. First of all, it's about gathering signals, and I'm going to be showing you right away how to do this with AI. Ad libraries, metadata, custom product pages, Iris. If you were here at the previous session, you heard that name, Iris. I'm going to be talking about this a bit more in detail. That's our own AI strategist. You convert then all those clues, everything that you found, into hypotheses. The goal is not for you to copy exactly what your competition is doing. The goal is to understand, okay, how do I act based on all the information I gathered from my competition? You then build your own playbook and you iterate. You do it again and again. You continuously test. You try to test faster than your competitors, of course, but that's the way we do. No setup is ever perfect. Every single time we work with a client, that's how we go through the data that we have, and that's why you need to build this market monitoring machine, as we called it. All right. The first thing that I mentioned here is how to gather signals. That means mapping the competitive landscape, figuring out who is attacking you and where. What are my top competitors in my niche? Which apps are doing something maybe very similar to me? In which markets? Strong markets, weak markets, where are they investing money? What are the keywords that they focus on? What is the share of voice that they have? What creatives are they actually using for their apps? Doing all of this takes a lot of time. It takes ages, literally. Now, with Iris and tools like this, you can literally do this in minutes. This, you probably also already saw this GIF in the previous session. This is our market research agent, Iris. It's AI, literally. You write something in there, yeah, as a like plain language prompt, as you can see on the screen, what are the top keywords in finance in the US? And you will get, within seconds, the list with the search popularity, the strategic insights. Provide me with an ASO audit for the app Revolut in the US store. You will have the entire description of what they are actually doing over there. This literally is a revolution when it comes to doing market research right now, because working on all those things, diving into all those numbers, it used to take ages. On average, it used to take 5 to 6 hours to do a real competitor research, like by hand. You were like filling out spreadsheets, PDFs, and then you were like, okay, let's do this next month because this month we don't have the time to dedicate all of this. And that when it takes 5 to 6 hours, that's fine. But right now with AI agent, you can make all those types of research within a few minutes. Now, the next question that you might have is, okay, but you're talking about your AI agent. How is that different from ChatGPT? Well, it actually is very, very different. ChatGPT is a general AI platform, right? It is amazing. It does great things for creativity, for drafting content, but it's trained on broad data. That's the difference that we have with our tool, like Iris, that we developed. This is called vertical AI, which means that it's being trained on specific data set coming from app stores, coming from our tools like AppRadar or SplitMetrics Acquire for Apple Ads, which means that it gets access to very specific data, which is important for you. And as we saw at the beginning, that literally means it learned from 10 years of app marketing expertise. So whenever you're asking a question, you're getting your data from this, you're getting your answers from this live, from what's going on in the market, which is something that ChatGPT doesn't have access to. Even if you ask ChatGPT, what are my top 10 competitors? I mean, it's going to go on Google and try to find them. It's probably going to go on Reddit to try and find it. Iris is literally going to go on the app stores and he's going to try to compare your keywords with other keywords of other competitors to try and find who is actually fighting you, who is your main competitor in Germany, in France, in the US, all of this, and that in just a few seconds. So now I'm going to show you how it really looks like when you start strategizing with a tool like Iris. As I mentioned before, I've been working in the agency marketing world for a lot of time now, years and years. One of the first questions I'm always getting from clients is, what is my competition's budget? How much money are they spending? And what are they doing with that money? It's always the first question. That's what everyone wants to know, because you want to understand, okay, am I behind? Am I not? What is going on? If you want to answer this question, you need like to analyze the entire market, right? You need to understand how many keywords they focus on. What is their share of voice? Can we expect, the DCPM to be like this? Like, it takes so much time to figure out this, and you will have just a rough number. If I wish you get it right away. It might be a little bit small on your screen. I would highly encourage you to go full screen on this. You will actually have the slides and the recording of this session, by the way, after, so you can also have a look at the entire results that we get. But here, for example, at the top of my screen, of the screen, you can see my prompt or my request to Iris, our AI agent. Can you give me a comparison of the spend of the monthly ad spend of Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge in the US? For the sake of this presentation, I'm actually going to be using Tinder as my main example. I needed one big app that everyone knows, which is in an industry, the dating industry that everyone knows. So it's pretty easy then for everyone to understand. But again, you can do this for your own app and your own niche. This is just for the sake of all of this. But yeah, give me a comparison of the monthly ad spend of those three apps in US, France, and Germany, and then you get literally the entire thing, literally. Um, so if I'm looking at this, United States highest investment Hinge, we can see on average between 180K to 320K, they're the market leader. Tinder is behind with between 160K and 280. Bumble, conservative approach, they're not spending so much money on Apple ads. And you can do this for like every market, every app, every competitor. So now you have an understanding of how much do they spend, how much do they spend compared to you. And on the bottom of the screen, you can actually see I didn't ask for it, but I'm already getting a keyword strategy analysis. I'm already getting information about how many keywords all those apps are targeting or are having live in their campaigns. You can see in the US, Hinge is at more than 1,000 keywords. In France, 700. In Germany, 479. For example, Bumble, in Germany, they have 12 keywords. Question is, what are they doing? In France, they have 7 keywords. Maybe they are protecting their brand keywords. Maybe they are focusing on very generic dating keywords. Who knows? But that's already giving you a good sense of what's going on. And if you're doing this for your competitors, you can say, hey, in my campaigns, I have that many keywords. Why is my competition having like twice as much? What are they focusing on? What am I missing in my campaigns that they figured out on their own? That's also one tool that we have. It's called the keyword gap. It's just visualizing what I just mentioned here, understanding where you're losing share without knowing about this. Again, I'm taking Tinder as my example. Over there, you can see here 3 competitors: Bumble, the Duet dating app, and Dating.com. Tinder is in light blue. You can see how the keywords are overlapping, and that's fine. Everyone is focusing, the very similar keywords down the line. But somehow Dating.com is focusing a massive, massive amount of keywords that Tinder is not. My question is why? If I'm Tinder, why? What am I missing? I mean, Dating.com is a dating app, right? I am a dating app. What are they focusing on that I don't have in my campaigns right now? I might be losing market share right away. And that's what I would love everyone to really understand this. And then you can actually dive into this. This is actually coming directly from Splitmetrics Acquire, crawling through all public App Store data. And here you can see what keywords Tinder is not focusing on in the US. So you can literally just see, okay, competitor keywords. I highlighted them in like orange and green so that it's easier for everyone to see. Those are the missing opportunities. You can see they are classified by search popularity. It's maybe a bit small. Again, I would encourage you to zoom in on this. And you can see the search popularity. So the main ones are at the top. And again, still all of them are very popular keywords. And you can see that somehow they are not really focusing on competitor keywords, even some very generic keywords. They are not focusing on this right now. The question is always why? Is it too expensive for them? Is it not? Do they just figured out that it's not worth it in this market and they would rather put their money and their budget somewhere else? Those are questions I cannot answer down the line. Those are company strategies. But what I can say is that they are not advocacy on there. And you can see all the share of voice of all the other apps, like those little squares, those are all little apps that are actually having a share of voice on those keywords. So you can very, very quickly identify who's doing what on the App Store and on Apple Ads. And you can figure out also what you would like to do yourself, right? Same thing also, by the way, I just want to mention this because I also checked the brand keywords of Tinder, and there's lots of like brand keywords or terms that they're actually not focusing on somehow, not really protecting them. Why? Are they actually just, figured out that their brand is too strong and they don't need to actually do this? They miss out on this. It is just not worth it for them. Who knows? Who knows? But you can actually see all of this directly. And again, please keep in mind that this is done within just a few seconds if you have the correct tools. It's very important for you to get it that you can have access to literally what everyone is doing and what they are not doing, which sometimes is even more interesting and important. All right, I talked about keywords here. I also really want to talk about creatives because that's also a big, big part. And I know some of you might not think about creatives, especially on Apple Ads, and that's a key thing, analyzing custom product pages. That's how creatives are called on Apple Ads. For those of you who do not know, you can change the screenshots that people are going to be seeing whenever you advertise on specific keywords. Those are called the custom product pages. So let's say that you have an app which is music learning app, and people can learn multiple instruments, and someone is typing guitar lessons on the App Store. You do not want them to see screenshots about someone playing the piano. You want them to see screenshots about someone playing the guitar. So you would create a custom product page with someone playing the guitar and guitar screenshots. So you increase the conversion rate like this. You can also figure out all the custom product pages somebody is doing online. And you can figure out, what they are doing, what kind of keywords they are focusing with all of them. So that you can take all those learnings, this like market intelligence, and use it for your own campaigns. And make sure that you are not missing out, because if your competition is using custom product pages, that means they figured out that, hey, this is increasing my conversion rate. I am lowering the cost of my campaigns by just having different screenshots. And you might want to do the exact same thing. Here you actually have, again, I took a screenshot of my request to Iris. Literally, can you analyze the custom product pages that Tinder is using on Apple Ads? Very easy. And it just gave me, the three different, destinations or landing pages that exist. The default page, one CPP focusing on dating apps keywords that they seem to be having. And actually, it seems like they have a custom product page about LGBTQ plus focus, where they have Grindr keywords. And you can see it's literally giving you a bit of information about that. It's also, I didn't even ask again for it, and I'm already getting strategic observations and recommendations about potentially testing seasonal campaigns, optimizing this custom product page because the impression share is quite low. All of this right away. Custom product pages are something very, very important. 75% of SpeedMetrics users actually use them. If you're not, you're probably missing out on some better conversion rates for your campaigns on Apple Ads. And if you're curious, by the way, this is again data from SpeedMetrics Acquire. You can see literally the screenshots here. You can see the custom product pages that people are using. The third one is the one with Grindr. You can see on the right the keywords that they are having. You can literally see everything. Amazing, right? Literally, what is the strategy for every single keyword? What kind of images, what kind of screenshots are they using? And if I'm a competitor, I'm going to be doing the same. I feel like for LGBTQ plus communities or audiences, I need to show them exactly what they want, what they need. Sure, I'll do it. My conversion rate is going to go up because I spied on my competitors. And that's quite important. All right. So in order to build this AI framework, if we recap what I just mentioned, the first thing, you collect the market data, keyword data, creative data. You compare all of those competitors with what you're doing, and you try to find the gaps. They are focusing on those keywords, and I'm not. Am I missing out on the market? Am I just missing out on some potential users that I could get? No setup is ever perfect. There's always going to be new trends, new keywords, new terms that you might not think about, but maybe your competition is, and that's a pretty big thing, right? Then you review again custom product pages, creative tactics. What are they showing their audiences? Maybe they're trying to do something completely different than you, and they figured out something that works. You need to act right away. Maybe, copy it or do something drastically different because you need to differentiate yourself. But you need to understand what they are doing right away. And you cannot, you can do this manually, but as I said, it's going to take you like 5-6 hours. Here, in 10 minutes, I have the entire, audit framework done if I have the right tools. And then, of course, it's always about prioritizing your opportunities. Of course, by size, by cost, what do you need to act on first? And then you continuously do it. You continuously monitor. Now, instead of doing a competitor report every month, you can do it every week. You can even do it every day. I feel like that's a bit of an overkill, but you can even do this every day. That's completely fine. You can. All right. I talked a lot about Apple Ads. I have two more points that I would like to talk about. First of all, it's across channels, across different ad channels, competitive intelligence, because I'm always surprised that some people are not aware that you can see the ads of every single advertisers on the main ad channels like Meta, Google, TikTok. You can see everything that they advertise right away. First thing, I'm literally going to show you, and I can show you how to find this. All those platforms, like for example, this is Google. They have transparency tools. They had to put this online because of legal topics. But for example, there's something called the Google Ads Transparency Center. You can literally, again, I continued with Tinder. I started with this. I'm going to continue with this one. You can literally just type Tinder and you will see all the ads that they have live right now. You can filter them by countries. So you have literally this creative intelligence to figure this out. You're like, hey, I would love to, I have a dating app. I would love to start advertising on YouTube. I'm not fully sure what I should be showing or the angles or the hooks that I would like to be using. Hey, you literally have everything right now from Tinder. Here on the right, you can see this is one of the videos that they are using on YouTube Shorts in Australia. It's written in a very small, but literally you can click on it. You can see everything that they do right away. Are they using user-generated content? Are they using motion designers and motion design? You can see everything. It's called the Google Ads Transparency Center, and that's for all the advertiser, for apps or not, by the way. The exact same thing also exists on Meta. Meta is called the Meta Ad Library. So if you're wondering what an advertiser is doing on Facebook or on Instagram, you can see everything. You can see here my GIF. This is what, again, Tinder is doing. Those are all the ads that they launched in November, by the way, just in November. But you can see every single thing. So if you're wondering what they are doing on Instagram Reels or on Instagram Stories, you can have this creative intelligence. It's for free. Everyone has access to it. I'm not even sure if you even need to be logged in onto Facebook. You might not. You might be able to even see this without being logged in, even. But you can really figure out everything that they are doing. If there's new strategies that they are doing, if they're using carousels, and they figured out that this is working really well. Like on the right, I highlighted this one because I just really like it. To be honest, it's a bold move from them. But that's apparently an ad that they launched on the 10th of November. I think that's what it says. So literally a bit more than a week ago. Image ad. How can I describe this the best way? It really shows the graphic design is my passion type of vibe. When it says when life is bonkers, just get on Tinder and find a new crush. But hey, maybe they figured out the best way to attract young users with an ad like this, with something that's so eye-catching. Maybe they figured out one new trick online. And maybe you would like to try something similar if you have a similar app. And once again, you can find all the advertisers on those platforms. Here on Meta, it's called the ad library. But again, the same thing exists on there. I also wanted to show you this because it's the same thing on TikTok, all those platforms. It's literally just free creative intelligence. Whether, again, on Apple Ads, I showed you how to figure out the custom product pages, Google, Facebook, TikTok, it's the exact same thing. So here, again, on TikTok, it's called the TikTok Creative Center. You can also find the ads and the videos that competitions or your apps, if you somehow want to see your own ads, you can on there. This one, you can see brand name Tinder Australia, so I'm gonna guess it's from Tinder Australia. Once again, this is everything that they do. You can see the landing page, the link, you can even see the UTM that they use for their link. Find your next crush on Tinder with the ad copy. TikTok does put lots of different numbers and lots of, it's giving you a bit more than just the creatives. I would take some of those numbers with a pinch of salt, but they give you some CTR, some conversion rates. There's quite a lot that you can find over there. So again, if you're wondering, hey, TikTok is a bit intimidating, right? Everyone is telling me that I need to have very strong creatives on there. I'm not sure if I want to start. I'm not sure where to start. Spy. Spy on your competitors. Spy on the best apps on the market, even if they are not your direct competitors. If you have a utility app, you have tons of different utility apps that will try to use, different hooks and things like this. Spy on them. Have a look at what they're doing, and you will figure out your strategy very, very fast. I have one very last topic that I wanted to mention. Again, I talked a lot about Apple ads. I showed you some things about different channels. The last topic is ASO. You can also do the same type of AI research, especially on Iris, by the way, for ASO. And your competitor research, again, even if you're still talking about UA deep down, it should cover ASO. Why? Because let's say your competitor is now somehow deciding to localize their app into 5 different languages. Most likely they will start advertising in those languages. They didn't do this for nothing. If your competition is somehow deciding to change their having a full overhaul of their metadata update, adding lots of new keywords and things like this, maybe they have a complete focus shift inside their app. Maybe they're even launching new features, and that's how you would figure it out. But the faster you can catch this signal, the faster you will understand it, and you can act to try and counterbalance this. By the way, same thing for the creative assets. Are they changing their icons, their screenshots? Are they putting in videos? Are they, switching because it's a big season right now happening, and they are switching something on the organic side of things? You need to know about this for your UA campaigns, for your ASO initiatives, also, and you can use tools like Iris for this right away. All right, I have, in theory, 45 seconds left, which means I'm going to be wrapping this session up. If there's one thing to remember from this session is that everything that I showed you here about the numbers, about the keywords, there's no magic over there. I do not have access to Tinder's ad account. I don't. It's all public information. You just need to have the correct tools to gather this for you. So you don't have to spend hours and hours on spreadsheets, on reports, on PDFs. And the best tool right now is actually called SplitMetrics Iris, and using those AI agents. And it's literally just asking questions in plain language. I mean, you saw what I did in my screenshots. What are the top 10 competitors that I have of my app in this thing? I can see that I'm a bit over time. I will just finish right now. What are the top 10, I don't know, keywords with the highest, I don't know, or yeah, anything. I was, the whole music of me stopping put me off. But yeah, well, same thing for ASO, as I just mentioned. What are the new changes in the metadata of this competitor? What can you just describe the ASO strategy of this app? Feel free to literally send this to Iris, and you will have the entire description of what they are doing on the ASO side. If you're a bit lost about ASO, you don't know where to start, all of this. All the big players are already using AI agents like Iris. You can see again this quote from Anastasia from Flow. Flow, market leader when it comes to women's health. Massive app. Again, they are using apps like this, and you should. And if you're wondering how, scan the QR code. That's my last slide. So scan the QR code. You can already, again, test Iris. Feel free to ask you questions about you, about your competition. I saw lots of, questions. And again, we will come back to the questions after this session, and we'll come back to everyone after all of this. But again, feel free to ask all the things. My prompts were very easy and very easy to understand. In this session, feel free to have very elaborated prompts. Feel free to ask it anything. It's literally your own little AI strategist, which is there to help you grow your business. So you need to use it. And that's the very beginning of your agentic marketing way of working with Speedmetrics. All right, that's what I had to say. I wish you all a good app growth week. I think the next session is going to be about TikTok by David Vargas, who's actually part of our Speedmetrics agency. You do not want to miss this one.